CryptoLocker virus we're going to talk about today. If you've been on a rock or you've been in a foreign place and you haven't heard about this last 3 weeks, the CryptoLocker takes possession of your files on your system if you get infected with it. There's no way to remove this virus. If your computer gets affected with it, you either have to pay them the money, $300 all the way up to $2,400, depending on what option you take if you get affected with it. Otherwise, when the time elapses, if you pay the $2,400, there's no 3-day, 72-hour window before all your files get deleted off your machine. But the worst case scenario is you can always uninstall or do a format on all your computer, and that will remove the virus. But when you upload your computer, make sure you have it, hopefully you have a good copy of it backed up on a CD, so when you reinstall the utility disk to rebuild and reinstall your version of Windows, it will, if you've already done it ahead of time, it will put a clean copy on there, and you'll be able to have a new system. But however, all your files and everything you had would be lost, and that includes multiple media. Now, there's a way you could do is A, you could use a virtual machine to set up, and B, you could use what is called VirtualBox. You can use VirtualBox to do that, or but that'd take up more RAM and resources, or you can use what is called VBox. And that'll work on Windows. And what you do is it allows you to go into the program to customize it, to let it to see certain parts of the drive. So if CryptoLocker were to get on there, it would only be designated to that part of the drive. It would not affect your whole system. So all you simply would do is just delete the contents out of that partition of the drive. It wouldn't go beyond that. Now you got to remember when you're setting this up to make it not see any other directories or any other external directories, and you want to set it up for email and set it up for web browsing. You can do it through the virtual machine or do it through Sandbox. I said VBox, but I meant Sandbox. And it's called sandboxing, but it's called VBox is the program. It's a lightweight program. It's a free client. You can use the VirtualBox too, but it will use more resources, but it does the same thing. So if you get infected in the virtual machine, and once you set this up, you can make it only see certain files. So if you make copies of these other files at other places, back them up on another part of the drive that isn't affected by CryptoLocker, you would still have your drive, and all you had to do is just delete the contents in that sphere, that virtual machine or sandbox, and that would remove the virus. And you would not have to reformat your machine in that case if you do it that way. But you have to set this up before you're infected. That's the key. That's for your email and for browsing on the web. If you have a virtual tunnel, I think with the virtual LAN you are protected from the CryptoLocker virus, because the virtual LAN is encrypted and it is a tunnel, and it does keep you protected VPN, so it's like a virtual connection to the internet, so it does not affect or infect your system. Basically, just be careful where you go. If you look at porn and all, you could be hit with this virus. If you go to shady sites like gambling sites, you also could be hit with this virus. So you need to really take some precautions. You shouldn't be doing any gambling if you're a Christian or looking at porn anyway. But if you are doing that stuff, that's telltale signs of where you've been. So if you are doing that, you better stop, because it will tell on you. When when a person like me were to come into your computer and do a cyber sweep, I can know everything where you've been, even if you tried to erase it. So, because it still is in there, I can find it with other programs. So, just make sure you're careful and don't go to those kind of suspicious sites. If you get suspicious links in email, like I've always said, like a number of us said, from TechSnap onto Twit, I haven't seen TechSnap coming into my population for podcasts lately, so I don't know if they've taken that time off, taken some weeks off, I don't know. Or maybe the CIA, maybe the government came after them or something and told them not to talk about that stuff. And maybe that's why they stopped, because they haven't aired this TechSnap episode in several weeks. So I hope TechSnap is not going off the air, because I think it's a good program, because it talks about Windows, Linux, it talks about all that stuff. I used to like that Hacker Show podcast they used to have, but they discontinued that. And Life Hacker, as far as podcasts, they're not doing any anymore. That was another good podcast that they used to produced that would tell you all the latest vulnerabilities and things, which they discontinued. So the NSA and other things may have pressured them to stop talking about it. We still talk about it, the Silvus Media, and of course, this is your tech news segment for today. And if you get a link on Facebook or any social media, don't click on it, because even if it came from your friend, chances are, if it's something you're not usually seeing, even though it says your friend, don't click on it. Always verify with that friend first to see if they A, sent you a link, and B, they may not even know that they've been compromised. So if you get a questionable link, don't click on it. Just delete the post and don't even reply to it. That's what I tell everybody here at the Silvus Media when you come in as a client or on contract. And if you get email that's questionable and you see links on there you don't recognize, because some links are good. You'll get links sometimes that are good, but you got to check, put them in the URL and see where they're from. You can rub your mouse over them, and actually down there in the browser in the left corner will tell you where it's from. If you don't recognize where that's from, then don't click on it. You click on it, it could have the EncryptoLocker virus on there. They also, had some updates. Like I said, they have choices now where you can pay up to $2,400, but there's no 72 time limit window on it where it will delete all your files if you don't give them the ransom. It goes from $300 to $2,400, and they want 10 bitcoins. So, try not to go to those sites and you won't get infected. And also, there's ways that they can infect your computer simply by using ultrasound frequencies. So, this is getting really bad. So it's like we got to have something on our computer to keep us safe from ultrasound attacks. It's a new way of hackers trying to put a virus on your computer, and they can still access your computer without you being connected to the internet through ultrasound. But see, they would have to be close in proximity, like 300 feet or less. They couldn't do that long distance off. So this would have to be a close proximity kind of attack, like somebody around the corner or outside your office or building, or maybe on another floor in the same building. If you have a bunch of businesses in a high rise or something, it's probably one of your clients that are hacking you, more than likely, or could be somebody outside in a car with a box, a pineapple, or some type of device where they're doing it remotely attacking, or they're doing it because they were able to get it in there on your thing. And Microsoft has a TIFF file. There's a TIFF file from Security Now. Mr. Gibson has told us that there's a TIFF file extension, because it's an old file. A lot of people still use it for like print shop and things. But there's a TIFF file vulnerability in versions 2007 and Windows, and also if you're on Windows XP or 2000, 2010 Office. But if you're on 7 or 8, it doesn't apply to version 2013 or version 2010. So I'm on 7, so that TIFF file won't affect me. But if I was on XP or anything earlier, it would. So take note of that. Microsoft is working on a patch to send out to the older systems, in case you're one of those who haven't upgraded in several years, but you still use Microsoft Office. There is a vulnerability in 2010 and 7. And it only affects those who are not on Windows 8 or 7 operating systems. And it does not affect Mac users, but it does affect Windows users. Now, this CryptoLocker can affect this ultrasound thing can affect all platforms. However, the CryptoLocker only affects Windows users. That's all versions of Windows. So just to let you know, be careful when you're on the internet. Update your virus definitions daily. Update your drivers, your hardware drivers. That's what I'm talking about. Update your programs daily, and update your BIOS when applicable, so you can be more protected against hackers and malware and vulnerabilities in your programs or driver hardware and program software. Also, Adobe Acrobat had a glitch, a big glitch. Many people have been sent emails to their ISP providers who do their email. You might have received this. Please go to adobe.com if you have a credit card account with them or a monthly subscription, and please simply change or rechange your password, because these people are trying to decrypt and also cancel your credit card that you put your account under, and have the bank send you a new card, and that'll stop that from happening, unwanted charges from occurring. Just in case they do decrypt the hash to get your credit cards, because I'm sure the criminals are working very furiously on that right now. to get your cards. And if they do this, this will be a real big cyber breach of security. Matter of fact, some of the stuff they found out was with Adobe, that when they would send your stuff, it would send it in plain text. So when they saw it over email, hackers can intercept it and steal your password when they send it to you. So they're working on changing that policy so that when it comes to you, you see it, but when it gets sent through the internet, it will remain encrypted. Like now, it's not. So they're working on a fix for that as well. And of course, this is all computer news for today, for November the 9th, 2013. And also, I want to talk about general news and updates. I noticed that people are not coming to my site because they're scared that maybe they may affect their business, because of dealing with a conservative political media channel. And of course, don't let that stuff scare you. And there's been also a downage on Alex Jones too. Because of that reason, don't let these government people or people in your jobs tell you who and who you can't, listen to online. Because folks, this is so important. You have a say in this country, and you need to take a stand for it. Because our rights are being violated and will be taken away if we keep going the way we're going. Tyranny is trying to overtake us right now. Matter of fact, Obama is also showing more like a courtesy towards Iran. I said Duran. Sorry, Duran, but the group, but I meant Iran. And also other Muslim countries. I don't know if you all know this, because you all go to church and you all watching TV and all. You probably missed out on the news. But it shows that he's been showing more favoritism towards the Muslim Brotherhood and other countries in the Middle East, which is not something America normally would do as far as history goes until now, with Obama doing it, which is don't seem normal for a president to be showing kind of a kind of tolerant attitude for them when America has never been like that towards Muslims or extremist infractions ever in the past. So these are all impeachable offenses. And Obama still keeps saying, I'm sorry about your flight being down now. See, the lie has continued. The escalated lies have continued. He's a serial liar. And the new thing now is saying, we're not going to take your site down. First, you're going to be able to keep whoever you want to be with, continue seeing the same doctors, while millions and millions of people are losing their insurance are being canceled every day. But as far as the healthcare goes, but everything's fine according to Obama. And then now today, he just came on with a press conference release saying, everything's, I'm sorry you've lost your insurance, but yet he promised and vowed over 30 times or more on public TV and television and many news outlets that you would never lose your insurance provider or doctor. You can keep your insurance. You can go and see whoever you want. Now, I hope what happened as far as me and Bass Pro goes, I hope that this decision not to use my products was because of the channel that I have, because this is a patriot country, and a lot of people who are true Americans really are truly patriots, not terrorists. And I hope this wasn't an event to squash me as a business, because you know that I stand up for conservative or Christian values, because I thought Bass Pro also had a lot of Christian and religious values from its heritage. From the way it was started, but I think as a corporation, they've been maybe sold out. I hope that's not the reason why they turned me away, but I hope not. But, that could be the reason why they didn't give me the account, because everything was looking really good up until about a couple of days ago. Ironically, it just seems like that may have something to do with it, but I hope not. I don't want to think that, but a lot of people, seems like if you don't want to give in to tyranny or do what they're doing, they just purge you. And the same way as with employees, people want to deal with a private business like me. They don't want to have my business because of what I believe in, which is irrelevant to the job or quality of work that I do, which is excellent and outstanding. I got many testimonials that can prove that over and over again. But, my views, I don't talk about them unless you all want to talk about them, but I don't bring them up unless the client brings them up. So I try not to talk about that, because I'm trying there to do work. I'm not there to talk about, what's going on in our government unless, I know that the client is sort of like a patriot by the way they talk, and talk to them about it because they're interested in it too, because they've seen my YouTube channel. But anyway, subscribe down below. I hope that's not the reason, because it seems to be a witch hunt going on more and more, even in churches and everywhere. They're firing people because of your religious and conservative and political views, and I think it's totally wrong. That's a witch hunt. That's against the law, and it's impeachable offenses that this administration could face. And I think we need to take more actions as citizens to move towards that, towards these people that are doing this witch hunt with a lot of people in the government because of their views, because of things they said 20 years ago or whatever, has no relevance with today. And even if they have their own views, that's their own views as an individual. But as long as they're doing their job and it's not impeding their work, then you have no reason to take away their job just because of something they believe or they expressed on their social media, such as Facebook, So, we need to think about this stuff, people. But remember, please subscribe down below. I love you, and I'll talk to you tomorrow with another update. See you then.